At Summerslam, we seen Jey Uso get crushed by his entire Bloodline family. But that wasn't the only crushing on Saturday night, because WWE SummerSlam has absolutely crushed AEW's Collision Viewership. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. An update for AEW Collision, their viewership for the 5th of August 2023, and it is by far the lowest viewership since AEW Collision debuted, and it got 417,000 viewers. Wow, 417,000. That's lower than some Rampages. That is an extremely low rating. The one before that had like 700 and something, so we're talking nearly half of the rating has disappeared. Half of the people that would normally sit and watch Coalition, or at least half the people that watched Coalition last week, decided this week that they wanted to tune in to SummerSlam. And am I surprised? No, because it's a premium live event. It's WWE's biggest event outside of WrestleMania, so I'm not surprised that people want to watch SummerSlam. However, it is a little bit telling that almost half of the AEW audience, if given the chance, would rather watch WWE, because I thought AEW's audience would be like diehard fans. They would always choose AEW over WWE. However, this just goes to show that this is not the case. They've decided to watch WWE SummerSlam rather than Collision, and this Collision was hyped up. We had essentially what is a world title match on this edition of Collision. We had Ricky Starks versus CM Punk for the Real World Championship, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as the special guest enforcer in that match. So they did try and put on a big main event, but it wasn't big enough. So like I said, they got 417 viewers with a 0.13 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, and it is the lowest viewership for Coalition to date, which is hardly surprising. Very, very low when you look at it. I don't think they'll be concerned, because I would expect it to go back up next week, but this is a really shit rating, and I think this is something that Tony Khan, AEW, they probably should have discussed. You know, realistically, Saturday night is a bad night. Saturday night is a bad night for wrestling, even when there is nothing on. You take away UFC, take away WWE Premium Live events, Saturday night is still not a good night. However, you've got to factor in that Collision will be going up against sometimes WWE Premium Live events, sometimes boxing, sometimes MMA, UFC. And I don't think that AEW... Now, you could argue that people that are into boxing and UFC, you could argue maybe they're not watching AEW anymore. And I thought that is kind of the case, but this goes to show not really, because almost half of the audience decided they were going to switch from Collision to SummerSlam. So I think it's fair to say that people that watch AEW don't only watch AEW, they also watch other stuff. And this week, they decided they were going to choose that other stuff. On this occasion, it's WWE SummerSlam over AEW. So, going forward, I just don't think Saturday night is a good night for any wrestling show. Even if you have the whole night free to yourself, most people want to go out. Most people will not want to sit in the house and watch wrestling on a Saturday. They either go out, or they have parties, or they have friends over, or they do something family related. They don't really watch wrestling. I would personally switch Rampage to Saturday. I mean, I think Saturday is a dead night for wrestling, and Rampage is a dead show, so it makes quite a lot of sense. I would switch them, and I would put Collision on after SmackDown, because I think you would gain from having it on after SmackDown. Now, people could say the last hour of Collision would run late, so it would go from, 10 to 12, and that would be a little bit later than they want, or whenever SmackDown starts in America. I don't know if it's 7 or 8, but I still think you would get more viewers that way. I still think people would rather... I genuinely believe people would rather sit up to midnight on a Friday than watch wrestling at an earlier time on a Saturday. I think you would get much more ratings. Plus, I also think you would get the SmackDown audience if you put Collision straight on after SmackDown, because that's what they tried to do with Rampage. They wanted people to tune in from SmackDown straight into Rampage, and I mean, people were doing it at the start, but then we kind of figured out that Rampage sucks. I think AEW Collision is the best show AEW have on at the moment, so it would be a good idea, in my opinion, if they do that, if they put AEW Collision on a Friday and they have it on after SmackDown. Will they do that, though? Will they want to change the schedule? Will they want to admit defeat just like 2 months into this project? Probably not. But this is a terrible rating, guys, and you can't help feel that every time WWE have a premium live event on a Saturday, we're going to get the same outcome. We're going to get the same results. And like I said, you don't want this as a result because it is really, really bad. 417,000 viewers, almost half of what they got last week. Very poor for Tony Khan and very poor from AEW. But that's it, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment. We'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully our ratings don't get as bad as AEW's. Make sure you keep watching the feeds and we'll see you later. Till next time. Peace.